thank you. If you guys have seen my graphics before, I'm not real creative, so like everything is just stolen from Pantera. So does anybody like Pantera fans? Anybody? Okay, has anybody heard of them? Heard of them? Okay, but I guess you don't have to. I went to a high school in Ohio, and there was a 7th grade girl was the only girl that raised her hand. Sounds like your parents are the fucking best. So yeah, all my graphics were stolen from Pantera basically. So we'll kind of stay on that.
Why are you looking at me? What'd I do? It's your stuff, not mine.
Yeah. So to stay on the Pantera theme, we'll do a little music history. Try to give you guys some of my background. In 1991, there was a huge concert in communist Russia. Okay, the same place the communist system was developed, right? So there was this huge concert. Pantera was kind of an up-and-coming band at the time. And they got invited to play at this. We kind of put it in perspective. In Woodstock, there was like 250,000 people, I believe. At this concert, there was 1.5 million people came through this Air Force Base field that day. Okay, so it's really like a big deal for this kind of up-and-coming band to kind of come on and be on this tour. Like, you guys, too goddamn old. Bon Jovi, AC/DC, like they used to be really, really huge, right? So get on this tour was a big deal. And the banner that flew above the stage that day is right there. Okay, so being a meathead, heavy metal guy, that was their banner, right? I can come up with my own tribute band. Okay, these are all the people that I was very, very lucky to learn from early on in my career. So I have to give credit to these guys. It's basically without being in the spot that I was at the time to learn from these guys, anything I would say would carry no weight. You know what I mean? Like, and that's become more apparent to me as I get out and speak more. As I go see people. When I was coaching, my assistant kind of learned from a few of the same guys, and I was like, I don't think you and I realize how lucky we were to learn from these people. You know what I mean? Just the basic things that we were taught. So I'll run through these people real quick.
Does that color look okay? Is it too dark? I don't want it. Do you know how to fix it?
Okay. So first we'll go left to right. First guy, my pointer's not going to work on these 3. First guy smiling with no hair, Ryan Groneman. Played at Boise State. When Boise State turned their program around, his senior year was their first undefeated season. And then they went to their first bowl game, I believe, in Hawaii. So he was there for that turnaround. When he was there playing, his strength coach was Joe Kell. Okay, so that was kind of some secondhand that I got to learn from. Pretty damn good, you know. He is the best hands-on coach you will ever see in a weight room. Okay, he's a monster. He's about 350. This is another thing. All my friends are way bigger than I am. People think I'm big, and I'm like, no, not even close. So just a big, huge guy. Kind of crazy. Swears a lot. But the thing is, the kids love him. Like when he left, we had softball girls coming in the office crying and stuff. So like he could really relate to kids, but very good at communicating. So I remember as part of my first internship, we were coaching. Like I was just kind of floating around watching and stuff, and he was coaching a kid on the bench, and the kid was starting to struggle, and we called him Brony. His name's Ryan Brony. We called him Brony. He started screaming at the kid, hands, hands, hands. The kid got on the bench and he sat up and says, "That's the first thing anybody said to me in here that made any sense." You know what I mean? So he wasn't talking about Merle drive or, you know, externally rotate your elbows. He helped the kid out. So that was a good example. I got to see how to communicate with people. Next dude, Paul Turquis, the swap arm for those days. He was coming into Buffalo about the same time I was. Buddy, so at the time that I was starting to come in, Buddy was there. He had just gotten there. Okay. Buddy Morris is with the Cardinals now. He was one of the, started at Pitt in 1978. Okay. Been around forever, one of the top guys in the industry. He brought Paul in about the same time I was coming in. So Paul, if you don't know his background, back when powerlifting was cool and everybody wore multiply, he was like the guy. Like he was world record holder for multiple years. Super technical. That's one reason I was very lucky to learn from these people. They're all weightlifting technicians. Okay. Everybody talks about, there's a big thing to talk about movement now, right, in our training. But a lot of times we're not watching movement in these racks. Okay. We're worried about sprint mechanics, which are important, right? But we're taking a lot of emphasis out of the stuff that goes on here, which to me can make the most difference. As long as you're doing it right. And that's what these people talk. So like Paul, I still train at Paul's gym. I've been training 31 years now. And like, he'll come in and say one little thing, my squat will clean up like that. So I got to see that and see how it helps the athletes. Okay. Next guy, Dave in the middle there. I think most everybody knows him. I didn't meet Dave until a couple of years ago, but back in around 2000, I read an article they put out, Periodization Bible Part 2, which is basically like Conjugate method for dummies. I read that and really kind of just changed my trajectory. Because I was a D3 football player, started training when I was 12. It was always kind of, just like you guys, are always kind of looking for the next best thing, like the magic pill for training, not pill, the training program. And I stumbled out of that article, and going into my senior year, in my senior year I was faster, stronger, healthier than I'd ever been before. So that's kind of, I read that and I was like, okay, there's kind of something here. So I put him up there, skip that dude. Buddy Morris, right, the other old guy. Talk about him a little bit. Super technical, very good coach. One of the smartest guys you'll ever meet. Might be too smart for his own good. Spends hours on the program. Okay, but you know, one of the top guys. Learned a ton from him. One of the best things I learned from him was he said, you need to be able to justify every step, rep, and movement in your program. Okay, don't just put something in there because somebody said it's going to make you explosive. You know what I mean? To be more explosive is not a justification for a movement. You know, so that was, I watched him, he would come in, I would get there early because I hate being late. I'd usually be there an hour before the workouts, and he was in there an hour before his task, writing stuff, erasing stuff, right? Like, just spend a ton of time. So, to be able to learn from him was very cool. And too, like, the thing about Buddy was, I started reading the Elite FTS around 2000. I think he came on board with them around 03 or 04 as Coach X when he was with the Browns. He was putting their programming up every day, and I was studying it like all the time. Like I would print it off and take it because we didn't have iPhones. There was a stack of printed off articles next to the toilet, right? So just reading all the time. So then to come around and work for him was pretty cool. And then Julia was at UV when I came in, and so I applied to grad school at UV because I had a plan. We were kind of out away from the city in a very rural area. I was not going to get a coaching job out there, so we kind of moved to Buffalo. And I going into grad school, I applied for a GA spot, which I didn't get. But we got up there, I got a part-time job, and I emailed Julia. I was like, hey, you know, can I just come in and volunteer? I'll clean toilets, I'll pick up the weight room, if I can just hang out and watch some training. You know, she let me come in. But anyways, I always have to get, you know, kind of props to these guys. I'm lucky they didn't kick my ass out because I would ask them a lot of questions. But that's good, right? Have you got like, anybody deal with interns here? So like I dealt with interns and they don't ask one question. You know, it's like, this is supposed to be your thing. Show me a little bit of interest. You know, everybody talks about, you know, guiding interns and stuff, but to me, like, you've got to show a little bit of interest if I'm going to spend some time. We talked about, Jason and I were talking about internship curriculum last night. Like, I didn't have a curriculum. Like, I went in, I took notes, I made sure I wrote down 3 or 4 things every day that I learned, just little bullet points. And I, you know, probably had a better experience than most people. But. So, those are my motherfuckers. I would say my motherfuckers versus your motherfuckers. That's me. So we're going to talk about, I know we have some high school, we have some college, private sector. 2, correct? So a lot of general population. Any physical therapists? No. Your guys' parents on here, right? Okay, so all right, this is young me at 14. Yeah. Oh, I got any action in high school. It's fucking nothing. I had a different Metallica t-shirt for every day of the week. Okay? But anyway, the point is, at this point I've been training for about 2 years, and my dad kind of saw where my interests were going, and he mentioned, he's like, there's a job called strength coach. So you can, that's a thing, you can do it. It was pretty much at that point I was like, yep, that's what I want to do, you know? So, when I was 14, it took me till I was about, Jesus, I think I got there when I was 27. So yeah, I started about when I was 27. So it took me all that time to kind of, you know, we kind of picked up and moved and bought a house, and we really couldn't afford Buffalo and stuff, so we had to go up, so I could do grad school and all this stuff. Didn't have a strength coach in college, just had to kind of teach myself. Where I grew up, nobody lifted weights, so I was kind of like, I had even like family members would be like, what are you doing? Like, wasting your time training, you're going to ruin your athletic. I had uncle tell me, because basketball was big, and I got to hear that you're going to get too big for that. I suck at basketball, I had nothing to do with lifting weights. But you know, so it's kind of like an outcast because you're training. But anyway, so all that time went by. Finally got a job. Was able to get. If you want to do a little bit of math, say there's about 120 D1 schools in the country. We'll be generous and say there's 10 coaches at each college. So I was able to go and get one of 1,200 jobs in the country, which is pretty cool. You know what I mean? And that's obviously a testament to the people that I met. We'll go back to that. But like these top 5 reasons that I was able to do that, like my wife, put up with my bullshit. You guys understand, you run a business, you're a coach, there's a lot of hours involved. Parents were always supportive. Even when I told my mom, who's a kindergarten teacher, that I didn't want to teach phys ed, that was a rough conversation. But she, you know, like, stuck around and cast me off the island, so I ended up right. And then, like these last 3 are basically because I was on Elite FTS all the freaking time, reading articles, you know, from like 2000 until I got a job, you know. So like, I went in to work under Buddy, and I could show those guys that I had somewhat of a clue. You know what I mean? So that was huge. So kind of come around full circle and work where I'm working now and do what I'm doing. Could not have landed in a better spot. You know what I mean? So I always have to give credit to Elite and Dave and Matt and everybody there for picking it up. Should I tell that story? How?
Yep.
How I was hired?
Yes.
Okay. I don't talk about myself. So when I got hired at Elite, there's our sales supervisor, Matt. I was done coaching, I got fired from coaching. That's what happens. We had a new AD come in. Anyways, I went down to the compound, down to our offices, and he said, hey, we might have a job opening up. Are you interested? And I was like, fuck yeah. And I go, what is it? And he goes, well, I'd like to bring on another sales guy. And I go, dude, I'm not really a salesman. And I go, I'm in, but I'm not really a salesman. He goes, don't worry about it. But he said, this was June. He goes, we gotta wait until like December because we're moving into a new facility, and we gotta kind of get Dave and Tracy on board. Tracy's Dave's wife. They run the business together. Dave's like the face. He goes, just, you know, chill out, we'll get you going, and we'll get Dave on a conference call. We'll get him on board, everything will be fine. Well, this is June. We're like, well, my checks from school around August, can we push it along a little bit? He goes, don't worry about it, we'll figure it out. So I got this a couple months over the summer where I'm kind of freaking out. I'm like, I got a job, what's going on? My wife's doing the same thing. You have a job, what's going on? I'm like, it's good, don't worry about it. So anytime I would text Matt to check in, hey, talk to Dave yet about that or whatever? Give me a couple weeks, you know, he's been out or on vacation, but it kind of blew me off a little bit. And text him again in a couple weeks, same thing. Always kind of dance around it. Well, finally, one of my former athletes opened up a small gym in Buffalo, and I just saw it on Instagram. credit for the grant, right? I was like, hey, don't tell anybody, but I might be getting this job, and you want help getting some racks or whatever, let me know. So he ended up getting, like 3 racks, a couple orders, like, you know, decent sized thing. I emailed Matt, I'm like, hey, I got this former athlete, wants to open a gym, you know, here's his stuff. And then Matt goes, okay, we need to get this going. Come down, get your paperwork done, get everything settled. Still no word about what's going on with Dave or whatever. So I go down, thinking I'm gonna fill out my paperwork and stuff, and start my job. And we're in their break room, and they have pizza for lunch that day. And I'm waiting in line for pizza. Dave walks in. Keep in mind, like, I'd only met Dave once or twice at this point, so I really didn't know him or Tracy very well. But he comes in, he kind of looks at me, and goes, hey, what are you doing here? And I'm like, that's not really good, you know? I was like, no, I just came down to see Matt, and I'm gonna train, and we're gonna kind of work on some stuff or whatever. I'm thinking, this is really freaking weird. Maybe Matt didn't tell him I'm coming down, you know? So then we're sitting down eating, and Tracy sits right across from me, and we're talking or whatever, and she goes, so what are you doing for work now? Or did you find a job or whatever, you know? And Matt's sitting next to me. I'm literally like this. I kind of look over, and I'm like, you didn't fucking say anything. Some shot pizza in my face, I'm trying not to look anybody. Like, oh, well, you know, Matt and I are kind of talking about some sales stuff or whatever. So, lunch is over, I go out to train, and in my head I'm like, he didn't say anything today. Like, this is gonna fall through. It didn't, you know what I mean? We're done. So I train, and he comes out, and he walks out, and I go, you motherfucker, you didn't say anything today, did you? And he goes, don't worry, it worked. So it's like, they just had to, like, him and the CFO at the time kind of just did it, and, you know, hoped it would work. Thankfully it didn't work out, but that was kind of, you know, like, I didn't know those guys at that time, and it's kind of freaking out. At that point, I told my wife, like, hey, I'm going down and starting the job, everything's good. Well, I gotta drive 6 hours back home without a fucking job. So, okay. This was the room that I got to build. My last 4 years, I was the director of oversaw Olympic sports. In that transition, we had a great AD at the time. Our old room was so bad, coaches wouldn't bring recruits in to see it. The racks were old, platforms, they wouldn't even bring them in there. So, we'll talk about this car sale, but anyways, that's another subject. So the AD saw the value in redoing the room. I got to redo the room. So it's kind of, you know, when I sell the stuff, like I've done, like, if I had the money to go buy equipment, that's where I buy it from. I was basically given a blank check. And actually, I set up a budget for a certain amount. I said, here's what we want, da 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 da. And I went to my meeting supervisor, and he goes, hey, I got good news. Danny's going to approve us for, it was double what I originally thought we had. So like my basic first list was like back and benches, and then I went right back down to like camber bar, safety bar, chains on every rack. So that was pretty cool. That's what we did. I got a sign put up, conference bill here. The reason for that is the best thing that your athletes will get out of here, right? Yes, they'll get strong, yes, they'll get healthy, faster, all that stuff. Don Thompson said this, and I steal this from him. When you go out to compete or game day and you feel like a superhero, that's what it's all about. Okay, but what's cool about the weight room is you have to earn it. You can't bullshit yourself. You know what I mean? When I played D3 football every Saturday, I believe that I could go knock Ray Lewis on his ass. Okay? Obviously not the case, but that's what I drink because I work my ass off. So if you can get kids to get into that and buy into that, it's huge. You know? So I actually spent, that sign cost $6,000. Okay, we had to build the wall out. Yeah, okay. So we got another one over here. Right?
That did not cost $6,000.
That did not cost $6,000. That's what I thought mine was going to cost. The university came in and had to bring the union in to do a bunch of steel work. I thought my assistants and I could say to build the wall out a little bit. I thought we could use some 2x4s and flatten it out. But anyways, that was kind of a big deal because I thought that was really important. Then our doors, obviously, wanted to cover up and lead because I've been a big follower and fan for a long time. So, Okay, this is one of my favorite quotes ever, even though Jim Leather doesn't train Conjugate. You want science and studies? Fuck you, I've got blood, scars, and vomit. Okay, that picture, that's Paul in the background there coaching me. That picture was above my desk for 10 years or whatever. Not that research isn't important, but it's way behind where we are, right? Like you guys are on the front lines, you're trying stuff out, you're talking to people, you're training people, you figure stuff out way before PubMed does, right? And that's kind of where we're at with Conjugate stuff. Like I think it's starting to get a little more popular, but you really can't go find stuff in PubMed or in the journals. You know what I mean? A little bit, you're probably starting to see a little bit of band and chain research, you know, in the NSCA journal. I don't read that anymore, but my issue with that is, and any research, is it really set up right? You know, like how many times you go on Instagram or see this big T1 school with bands or chains on or whatever, and it's completely fucking wrong. You know what I mean? So for things to be done correctly and the movements to be performed correctly, which is huge, we'll talk about that later in the practical session, how the movements are done is one of the most important things, okay? For that to be done right in a research setting is tough. And I get it, I understand it's hard. People just don't understand, it's not, you know. But, so that's kind of, you know, my stance on research. We know what's going on before the people do. Why this doesn't work? It doesn't work, it's garbage. It's not sport specific, right? Anything you do in here should not be sport specific. What happens is, if you get too sport specific in here, you start taking away from the strength. The body's not loaded enough. You have to stress the body to get stronger and produce more force. Okay, when you're, not to say those things are bad, like the whole functional, it's hard to classify all this stuff, right? When you kind of look at training, we were talking about kind of foo-foo stuff, or functional, or rehab, or if your whole program is all that stuff, you're not going to get strong. Not that you can't have it in, but that's what's cool about the system is you can max out and do speed work and do assistance work and have that functional or rehab type stuff in, and that way you're getting everything. Just like if your program is if you go in and max out every time, that's not good either, right? You gotta have balance, and that's why Dave laid this. I always thought about this way, but I was talking to Dave one time, and he said it's like lanes. Wide spot, right? Any coach in America comes out to demonstrate an athletic position for their athletes. Look at this. What do they just do? You just went with your feet body. You don't play sports here, right? And I used to be close against water. In college, right? I was this guy. What happened was the first time I went to box squat, I got my ass kicked. Bad. Like I was probably mid-fives, you know, squatter, and then read the article, I'm like, I'm gonna try this, and it like mid-threes was hard. Okay, it's because your hips aren't developed. When I say hips, it's like my boxer briefs on, kind of upper leg, kind of lower torso. That's all I'm talking about. So that's why like, you're going to get in this position at some point. All right, so much later. So I'll kind of watch Sean's feet. You can kind of see the pressure. When he goes to stand up off the box, you can kind of see the pressure push out on his feet. Watch it, next thing I'll watch his knees on the way out. We'll go over this later too, but I just want you guys to see a little bit. So when he starts to squat, his first motion is butt back, and then it's knees out. So when we were coaching, you would hear all day long, back and open, back and open, back and open. Okay? So those were our cues. What's cool about usually when you're squatting, if they look good, if the lower body looks good on the way down, it'll usually take care of itself on the way up. So if you can get them to reach back and open up good on the way down, on the way up, all we're thinking about is driving our shoulders through the bar. Like you want to split it in half. Because if, like I said, the lower body will kind of take care of itself. But what that does, if you get that timing right, get them to do it right, all your neurological, muscular firing patterns are sequenced correctly. All that, if you just, my point is, if you train right, all that shit will take care of itself, okay? watch his hips and knees on the way down. Up, back, and open. That's all it is. Open until they're on the box. That's a big problem you'll see. They'll start out good. They'll start the movement pretty good. And then, usually because their hamstrings are weak, they'll start out good, and then you get that plop, right? We all hate that. A big cue is either keep reaching or open until you're on the box. Because if I open my knees on the box, that usually will take care of that. Okay? Another reason you'll see that is their low backs are weak and they don't want to lean forward. So they're comfortable here and then they want to try to get vertical because their low back can't handle it. Okay? If you keep leaning, just lean until you're on the box. Okay? That'll take care of that too. Okay, so reach. I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, in the past when we've done box squat, this is years ago, and I got away from it just a little bit, is just, I don't know, just kids resting too much on the box when they get down. Is it, you know, touch and go, it looks like he kind of rocked back a little bit. I know less times of them used to coach, you know, ways to go, but it seemed like that's where kids got hurt, needed too much weight, resting too much, relaxing that, you know, that lower back. So how do you coach against that, or how's that?
Did you guys all hear him? Okay, that's a really good point. Sean, so like, Louis kind of teaches that hip release in a little, I don't want to say rock, but like Sean did.
Yeah.
He was really good. He had been lifting for a while, so I kind of let him do that. Most of the time, I wouldn't let kids do that. So coach them to stay forward. So once you're on the box, you can put a lot of weight on the box, but keep your torso forward, and that keeps the load from going back onto your spine and stuff. It keeps the load in your feet too. You know what I mean? So it's like, you eliminate all the pressure, or you keep the pressure. If I lean and I'm here, while I'm here, there's a ton of pressure going out, and it's like loaded from my shoulders, all the way going out the sides, all the way down. Like I can feel my glutes, hamstrings right now, they've got that outward pressure. Once they do this, that's where they lose that. So Louis kind of teaches like, relax the glutes and then kind of snap into it. We were just here, pause, then snap it. You make sure you go from a dead stop. Okay? But the lean thing will kind of fix that.
So when you take out the lean for a beginner lifter, and then maybe add it back in as it becomes more intermediate to advanced?
You take the lean out?
Yeah. Do you know what I mean? It's like
no,
your first example video where there's putting that couple inch lean in the back and then launching off the box. And then your other example where you show where you take the lean out, it's gonna hit the box staying in the traditional squat position down there. So what you recommend with the beginner lifter training at the box? Just hit the box without the lean back.
Yeah, don't lean back. So like beginners, like we taught everybody, don't rock back once you're on the box. And I never tried to progress people with that. We just stayed with the lean. That's just kind of how he had done it. And he had worked with Paul a little bit when he was in high school. So like
that's how I was taught in high school. Like an inch back, so at least do that.
Yeah. When you're in a group setting, not that that's wrong,
yeah,
but like I found in a group setting that's a really slippery slope. Because you'll get kids that want to do that to try to cheat anyways. So just like take it out. You know what I mean?
Like he was saying, if people lean back too far, stay back aggressively.
Yeah. Yeah. Turn into a shit show.
Yes.
Okay. Questions? Another method you can use that I like a lot, gives you kind of the same stimulus as box squat, squatting on chains. It's hard to see on that photo. We only did this with our kids that were kind of a little more advanced, kids that were motivated to train. For example, we could do this with women's basketball and men's. Kind of get me. Track, did a great job. Swimming, I would not do this with my swimmers. You know what I mean? They have enough tight hip issues. Not so very good for them. But it's the same. So what you do is you take your safety pins put your J hooks in first, okay? And then we took our safety pins, put it right in the next hole, right above it, so the pin is going across here. And then you take your chain, and it goes over the safety pin, and it makes a loop with the bars inside the chain. So when I squat down, instead of sitting my butt on the box, I pause the bar in the chain. This will eliminate backward rock, because you can't, because you're falling grass. So it's actually, if you have kids that are focused and good lifters, it's a really good tool. You don't have to go quite as low. It is tough on the hips. Okay, so if they're an inch or two, like, their depth doesn't have to be exact. So if you have kids at different heights a little bit, don't worry about it. As long as they're close. And the loads are going to be lighter. Like this kid was close to 500 pound squatter. He's using 185 with this, where he probably used like 2 to 2.5 plates on a box. It's much more taxing. So for example, I stole this from Donnie Thompson. When he ran this program, he was chasing a 1,300 pound squat. I can't remember if he stood up with 13 or not. He ended up at 1260. He did?
It came out of it, but it was
high. Okay, so he stood up with 1,300 pounds. When he was running this program, he did it himself. He only used 3 to 4 plates each week. So you don't need a ton of weight. Okay? But watch this, kids. So we'll just watch. Okay, so we've talked about technique so far. Once your technique is down, the next thing you need to teach them is intent. Okay, we saw his intent into the bar, kill the bar. Like I used to say when I was coaching, I want kids in the weight room that'll go down and take it down a dark alley. You know what I mean? Like that's kind of the intent. You want when you're training down, he was one of those kids. So my point is, once you get the form down, and that's where I'm at. I'm working with a high school in Ohio right now. It's taken us 2 months to kind of get the technique. I go down once a month, help them out, set up the program. We've kind of got that now. So now I got to go down and say, training wheels are off. Now you guys got to learn how to train. You got to learn how to work. Okay. So intent in the bar is huge. Watch the speed on his first rep compared to second rep. See how much faster the second one was? All we did was fix his elbows and lock his upper back in. So watch again. So this, I'm showing you this to show you how important the cueing is. See his elbows staying on the back? So he loses power going up through the bar on the way up this one. You see him tuck him, and then his back was locked in and he can hammer it. Okay? So if you do the lift right, then your body learns how to be more explosive, and that should transfer to your dynamic correspondence. Right? I pick on fitness terms like bad songs. Like, usually the song comes out, it's pretty good, but the problem is you hear it all the time. The core was kind of a cool concept when it first came out 20 years ago, and everybody used that. That was a joke. Okay, so we're going to squat correctly. Yes?
So, with him going down in chains, is like the only difference between that and just going down the pins is just kind of a little bit of freedom you get on the bottom?
Yeah, you can do pins. The chains I like a little better because
Yeah, a little more give, I guess.
there's a little more play. Okay, jump and land correctly. Right? Some stuff sounds simple, but the simple things make the most difference. When your athletes take off, make sure their knees are not doing this. Okay? Make sure they're here. Just make sure your knees are not rotating in like this. They're kind of rotated out a little bit. Same as how we squat. Okay? People knock the conjugate system because they say, well, I can't coach all those different movements. There's a ton of carryover. If you can coach like 4 movements, you're good. It's all the same stuff. You'll see a lot of recurring things. So watch Kyle. Here, watch him. Watch when he lands. Watch when he takes off. So that kind of transition. He did this remotely. So he did a video for me. He wasn't there to be coached. Okay, I'll go again. Right, so that's not good. You don't want to be. That's ACL territory. So what I would do to fix that, try to cue up a couple times, right? If that's not working, they can't do it, make the exercise easier, okay? If kids look like shit doing something, give them a chance to fix it, and if it ain't happening, do something easier. Because if you're gonna make more of an impact, more of a difference by doing something right, than something fancy and kind of looks like crap, okay? So what I would do to make that easier, you could, he might be thinking about the jump too much. This is a true plyometric, so it should be an involuntary reaction. That the box that he's going up to might be too high, so he's thinking too much. That can be an issue, so you can try lowering that box, or you can try lowering his takeoff box. He's a pretty strong, explosive kid. I'm guessing it's just something wasn't there to cue him. Like that, his step-off box is not terribly high. You know what I mean? That's a pretty easy thing for him. So I think it was just he didn't really know. But that's, and when you land, your knees need to be out too, right? My feet should be basically under my shoulders. Let my knees roll up, let my butt go back. Everybody talks about glute and hamstring development. As soon as my knees go forward, where am I taking stress off of? My glutes and hamstrings. Okay, now when they land, their knees are gonna go forward. It's gonna happen, but stick your butt out, right? I always tell the kids, jump hard, land soft. Get off the jump quick, land soft. Watch Kelly. Watch her take off, watch her land, she does a really good job. Okay. When that knee rotates out, it lets your glute work the way it should. Alright? Technique 3, so we're kind of getting some upper body stuff right now. Scap contraction and depression. Okay? Everyone's like this. Our kids are like this. We're all like this. Let's not bullshit ourselves. We do this too. When you have new people in the weight room, teach them to pull their shoulder blades together and put them in their back pockets. Okay? I took this too far early on in my career. We did everything in that position, all the time. Because I was like, that's where I bench and squat, that's where they need to be. They suck at it, they need to do it every single time. I kind of changed. Part of that was dealing with some shoulder issues myself. I think kind of made me see the light a little bit. So what we did later on was teach them on all your upper body stuff, right? When you're doing rows, face pulls, benching, it's all the same. Teach them to hold that statically through the entire range of motion, right? After about a month and they understand that and get that, then start teaching them, when you're doing some rows, you can program it like every other time. Let the scaps roll out, stretch, and then suck it back and then go into your row, okay? Doesn't matter what row you're doing, but I would split it up like maybe your heavy days, you stay locked in and static, do your rows. On your lighter days, when it's lighter weight, let it roll out, stretch, pull. Okay, so then you kind of build scap mobility into your program, so you don't have to do these drills for 20 minutes before you train. But that seems to work better. Our kids seem to feel better with that. Teach it to them static first. Let them kind of get the hang of it, and then coach a dynamic and let them do that. Train what you say you're training. If you say you squat because you want to train your glutes and hamstrings, and you let your kids squat like this, you missed it. Okay? The muscle's got to be stretched to contract, right? So you got to get some depth. Okay? That's why, to me, the box squat and getting close to parallel is very important. Not to say you can't quarter squat and put that in your programming for certain things, but the majority of your time, you should go full range of motion. Same with benching. We were talking about benching last time. You got to do some full range work. Okay? If you're going to play knockout game with somebody, here's your muscle contraction example. We're going to play knockout game, right? You ever played that? No, you're smarter. See, everybody says kids are dumb now, they're smarter. So if we were going to play knockout game, you stand up, you don't have to stand up. Stand up, put your hand on my shoulder, and you get to punch me. But if you don't knock me out, you can punch back. Okay?
Can we do that? Or no? Sign a waiver at them? You get two punch options. One punch option is you can start with your hand
this far from my face. A bunch of retarded kids. The other one is you get to wind up and crack me in the nose. Which one are you gonna do? You're gonna wind up, okay? Same goes for squat. You gotta fucking wind up if you're gonna get into your glutes and hamstrings, okay? So, back to what Buddy said, if you put something on paper, make sure it's accomplishing your goal, what you want to try to do, okay? This is blurry. This is the best picture I can get of. This is Charlie Francis's. He's from here, right? Canada, Minnesota, something.
Hey there. Hey, hoser.
They turned on him. Maybe he's never seen again. This breaks down motor unit involvement in different movements of the weight room. Okay, so again, this is blurry, but on this end, in the high motor unit involvement, you have clean and jerk, maximal sprints, snatch, plyometrics. Okay, kind of in the blue, where the blue starts there, you have squat, deadlift. I'm pretty sure those weren't done with maximal speed on them. I'm pretty sure it was just like a, I don't know this, but I'm done about that one. So that's kind of there where the blue starts. And then it kind of goes down, good morning. It's kind of halfway down through that blue. And then when you get into the red again, it's basically like your accessory work, lat pull down, shoulder work, abs, all that stuff. And then, so my point is, everybody talks about maximal neuromuscular motor recruitment. The problem is, if you're only training that within your daily plan, you're going to smoke your kids. Okay, I go back to Husker Power. Is anybody familiar with Husker Power? Okay, read that back in the day. Like obviously, groundbreaking stuff. But the thing is, like, every movement is big and compound, and then the next day is a full day of like Olympic variants, and then you repeat that later in the week. I did that in college, and it worked out well until I fell on my face and tested. So I was like, something's, and then I was kind of fucked up after that, to be honest. Like I was beat up. So my point is, when you plan out your training day, you should cover this whole spectrum. Okay, that's kind of what the system really does. So we're down here, clean and jerk, maximal sprints, box jumps will be in there, right? Start your day out with your high motor unit stuff. So we'll warm up, hit your jumps or throws, you get high threshold stuff, then our big main movement, then our secondary movement, which would be another barbell thing. And then we're kind of coming down through my accessory stuff, it kind of hits the smaller stuff, okay, the less taxing stuff. So yes, you want high motor unit recruitment, but with that there's also a cost. So within each day you've got to kind of sort that out. All right. Just some examples, like Romanian RDLs, Romanian deadlift is a great exercise, but it might not be a good exercise for someone who can't hinge. You know, if a high school, you guys see this all the time, high school kid can't hinge, don't put a barbell or dumbbell in their hand. Just have them go over a reverse hyper or back extension. They'll pick it up and they'll train the same muscles. And you can build that weakness up and then a month down the road, start RDL. Or, like, you know, like in-season stuff. Instead of RDL, do something less taxing. Hit the same groups. You gotta take into account the outside stressors that your kids have. Okay? So, RDL is a good lift, lunge is a good lift, squat's a good lift, but you gotta take other things into consideration. To me, that's what's cool about the system. A lot of the movements done are very simple. You know, like our swimmers pick things up. It kind of takes the guesswork out. Your kids are there for, I think, the most. A lot of you guys deal with athletes. A lot of them are there to play their sport, not be weightlifters. You know what I mean? So, and that's tough for strength coaches. That was tough for me to figure out. Why do these kids like to train? What the fuck? You know, like they're there. A lot of them come lift because they have to. You know, so give them easy stuff because you got to think about their weightlifting age or their technical ability in the weight room. That's kind of how I used to base my program. Not so much on their sport. Like where are they in the weight room? So they're way down here. So if we give them just a little bit, Like your thought process is up here. If you want to do everything and all this cool stuff, you just bring it from here to here, and then you're doing good, you know? We talked about that in basketball last night. Like our men's basketball guys, they were motivated to train, you know, and I wanted to do max effort work. I wanted to get guys squatting 4 plates with a yoke bar. So as you go down and do your programming, just think of it as lanes and you're just plugging stuff in. If you stay within the kind of basic skeleton work of it, you'll cover everything. And you don't have, it takes so much thought out of it, right? If my dumbass figured it out, you guys can't, anybody can. Right? Not functional, what's functional? It's for powerlifters. It's not. The original system that was developed in Russia was developed to train Olympic athletes of various sports. Louis just researched it and put it on his powerlifters, right? So it's like, thank goodness he did that, but then we also have to deal with he did that. So because there's kind of that stigma, you know? Here's another thing. Last time I checked, powerlifting is squat, bench, and deadlift. If you run this system correctly, you'll do those 3 lifts maybe a couple times a year. Most programs that are popular in sports training, squat and bench at least once a week, some might deadlift. So what program is more fucking powerlifting based? Not this, right? Sorry. Makes you big and bulky. No, you guys know this stuff. I'm being a smart ass. I have a good slide to address that later on. Any questions so far? If you guys have questions or something to add, let me know, okay? Questions? Okay, before we get into like nuts and bolts and kind of X's and O's, there's some stuff that you have to get right, like this and a couple others, technique stuff, that if you aren't doing this stuff right, the other stuff doesn't matter. Okay? You could do a whole day or even a weekend on different programming aspects, but if you don't do these things right, you're wasting your time. And I've seen that. That's what's cool about my background. The kids that get technically proficient see the best results. It's how the movements are being done, not so much the exact movement. Jason and I were talking about that last night. People get too hung up on what exercise is being done on the weight. Like, okay, so number 1, box squat correctly. Okay, let's talk about why we box squat first. Why should I box squat? It's easier to recover from. It's easier to teach. It addresses mobility and strength at the same time. Okay? How many coaches say my kids can't open up their hips? They can't open up and turn. This will build in mobility. I have multiple kids coming because when you're squatting, you're here, right? A lot of kids have a hard time with this. So I'm going to build in mobility and strength at the same time. Okay? Most mobility issues are not so much a mobility issue, but a strength issue. What happens is the kids aren't mobile enough because they're not strong enough to get in this position. So the body goes into hypertension, everything grabs on because it's trying to protect it. If I'm not used to this, my groins are going to grab on to prevent themselves from tearing. That's scientific, the groins. Okay? But you build that into it. I think it helps develop lateral change of direction. Okay? What is change of direction? Absorb, push off laterally. If you box squat correctly, you sit, you push out laterally on your feet. We never trained agility unless a coach made us, and agility scores continue to improve. For the most part, we have a couple outliers, obviously, with other stuff. We hardly ever did agility drills. They get enough of that. You know what I mean? If you're like high school kids, if they have off-season practices and stuff, that's enough agility work for them. You don't need to keep hammering that. And honestly, I think it beats the kids up. We had a team, the coach wanted to do something different, took the kids and they were doing a bunch of agility and kind of foot ladder stuff, and instead of getting stronger, and within like 3 weeks, all the girls' knees and shins were all banged up, low backs were all banged up. They felt shitty because that stuff's very stressful. Okay? The forces you produce lifting weights are not comparable to change of direction. Right? If I go play basketball for an hour, that's a lot more taxing on my body than a 1 hour workout. Okay? So So keep that in mind. So you can train that. I got a tangent here. You can train that with box squat. So you can recover from, right? Depth. How many times you go in the weight room and you listen to the strength coach, scream over and over and over, get lower, an inch lower, you're almost there. And then the kid doesn't get there, but the coach is so sick, the coach and he goes, okay, good. And then he goes to the next rep. Right? We've all done it. You get to the point where you can't go. So you have that. You built it, like you teach the kids to set the box up right, you eliminate a lot of that. There's still going to be a little bit of, kids won't sit back in the hips the way they should, so they'll be a little bit higher, but you eliminate like 80% of that. It makes your job so much easier. If you're going to cut down a tree, are you going to use a steak knife or a chainsaw? I'm going to use a chainsaw. That's all this is. It's just an easier tool, more efficient tool. Okay? We hardly ever free squat it. There was one team that the coach kind of insisted on it, so we did it. But this was our staple 99% of the time. We were talking about this last night too. I don't care about strength. Okay? I want the athletes to feel better and do better at their sport. I think one of the best indicators that we can use is just vertical jump. They can jump higher without taking a step, they got more explosive. And if you guys have worked with athletes for a while, you know that can be tough to raise, especially after they've been training for a while. Okay, we'd have senior kids come in and PR. I have two examples that stick out, like vertical jumps continue to creep along. And then we had kids that went on different systems, and they trained differently, and then came over and did this stuff. While they were on the other stuff, their vertical actually went down. They came back and started doing this. They had big jumps. So I've seen a lot of good results. We had one of our throwers came in one day. I had the Vertex set up, and you guys know when the Vertex set up, every person wants to jump and touch it, right? So he was coming into the squat. His warm up, he walked to my office, put his Reebok squat shoes on, untied, came out, put the thing up, and he jumped a 2-inch PR. He was a junior at the time. So it was just like, and then we had a sprinter do the same thing. The thing was set up, he changed it, took his boots off, put his sneakers on, jumped the PR in his pants or whatever. So it works. Okay, how to do it correctly. I used to say that box height, see that red line there? I used to say that box height was the biggest mistake with box squat. I take that back. The thing I see the most now is shin angle. Okay, if you're going to box squat, your shin should be perpendicular. All right? I'm a little behind that, that's fine. If you got some kids that can do that, that's okay. But if you can keep that perpendicular and watch, like if you get that right, a lot of the other stuff will fall into place. Okay, so that's really, like when you guys coach the squat, you want to do it from the ground up. Okay, when you do bench, we'll work from the hands down. Okay, but you're looking for that shin angle. And the way to find that you have to get the kids out wide. Okay, because if I set my box height here close, it's going to be different than when it's wide. All right, so I got to get out wide. So what's wide? Wide's relative for the athlete. Okay. Anybody know who Chuck Vogel is? Okay. Minnesota's cool. That's a big number. Okay. So like a lot of people, you say wide squatting, that's what they think of. Like my feet way the hell out here. For an athlete, you don't need to do that. The big thing is, the athlete's going to be a little bit uncomfortable because they're not used to being out here. But the other big thing is when they sit on the box, or even just standing here, you've got to be able to feel lateral pressure going out the side of your shoe. Okay, so it's like my toes are going to split out the side of my shoe. That's what I'm trying to feel. So you get, and everybody's different, right? That width is going to be different. So get them out there and then sit them down with their shin perpendicular, and then just look at it from the side. Okay, if I draw that line from the crease of my hip to my kneecap, that line should be parallel to the floor. All right. For athlete like this right here, if I go to a meet and do that, I may or may not get my squat fast. Okay, depending on the federation. But for an athlete, that's fine. The big thing is get their femur parallel with the floor. Okay, so if your shin angle is good and you're there, that's half your battle right there. Those are the biggest mistakes. When I was coaching, we had the adjustable box squats with the screws and the pins to adjust. What I did was I put them all of them all the way down because if I have a female track in, I'm sorry, go the other way. If I have basketball in and he's got his box way up and then track comes in, it's going to take them 5 minutes to change that box. So if you're going to use boxes, find something that's efficient and easy. So we took all the boxes, put them all the way down, and then I had a bunch of those cut up floor mats that I found, like we had stacks of them. So every kid knew, okay, when I come to the squat, I gotta have 3 minutes. So you gotta be efficient with it, because you'll waste a ton of time. So like even, if you guys are on a budget, can't afford boxes, Jason built some 2x4 boxes down there. You can make those for like 20 bucks. Just, you take a look at it later, but just go get a few 2x4s, cut 18-inch lengths, and then stack them up and screw them together like Lincoln logs. Okay? So that's, I just kind of those all. And then you make them kind of low, right? You want to make them kind of low and then have something there you can adjust. Pieces of plywood, rubber flooring, okay, bumper plates. That's about the only good use of bumper plates, in my opinion. Fucking stack your box up. I'm joking. We didn't do a limit class, so I'm talking shit. Okay. How do we do it right? So we got that. That's good. Okay, here's another reason why we box squat. Now, so we did speed work, we did accessories. Their lifts were 40 minutes long, and they got better. Like we didn't bench hardly all season long. We just did dumbbell work, and then we tested their bench after season, and they all freaking went up. So you guys don't understand how lucky. Train when you say you're gonna train. Just make the movement simple. Start low. Make them real simple, and then progress them as they go. Accelerate bar. We'll talk about that with the squat. The squat video. Most athletes and people in general are good with reactive strength or like true plyometric stuff because they've been running and jumping their whole lives. So they kind of get that. They get the elastic component. They're good at that. If you can sit and pause in a box and then blast it off, that's hard for them. So what that does is they kind of get better at something they're not very good at. It brings up the other stuff. It will increase their elastic ability. Okay, so accelerate bar. When you're first teaching them to squat and you start to see them kind of like shawing it off the box, like they kind of get that little snap off the box, that's how you know you're getting somewhere and they're starting to get it. Okay, technically they look good, and then when you see that kind of snap, that's when you know they're kind of getting it. So accelerate the bar. That's not always easy for them. Teach them how to train. With this system, this is probably your biggest learning curve. Okay? People want to, this is going about kids, they're lazy and this and that. Well, who's teaching them? Okay, that's on you. Like you gotta, this is not their realm. You know what I mean? Like this is, and I kind of thought about this like, well, I want the basketball guys to lift harder. Why don't they come in and, you know, well they're not very good at it. So like if they brought me out to play basketball, I'm probably kind of gonna, you know, not just fucking go like maniac, you know, but you know what I mean? It's not their thing. So you gotta show them. Time sets are very good for that, right? Teach them what failure is. You know, you might just spend your workout. Okay, everybody grab a bar. We're gonna put a 10 on each side. We're gonna go. You're gonna go so you can't go anymore. Like literally so you can't lift it off your chest. Like they probably never had to do that. You know what I mean? Or if you have interns, you can you got a kid that's not getting it, have them kind of go through and show that kid how to train. But the clock works good too, because if you go for 30 seconds and you make them keep going, but then explain to them, hey, that last set, when you thought you couldn't go anymore, you got a couple reps, that's how your sets have to be. Okay? So if I put 10 reps on the board, and you could have done 20, now we need to go up and win. Right? It sounds very basic to us, but don't always get that. your indicator kids. Your kids that do a good job, kids that show up, kids that work hard, kids that ask for extra work. Those are, use them, okay? Base your training off of them because they earn the right to give you feedback. The kids that come in and don't do shit, doesn't matter what they say because they don't know, right? If you haven't put the work in, you don't know how you're supposed to feel. Because those kids that don't do anything, they're not gonna, if you scale the workout back because they're tired, they'll scale it back even more. So use, this is one of our indicator kids, use them to kind of influence people. Maybe in your groups you can put some kids that are kind of slacking onto those guys, put those guys in charge of the rack. Stuff like that, okay? Or maybe you do it the other way, where the real good kids are here and you have stick an intern on the rack with the kids that are lacking. Okay, there's a lot of different things to kind of help get buy-in. Reward effort, not the superstar athlete. Okay, I see that a lot. I've seen this in person. We had, there was head football strength coach. There's a ton of guys in the room training. Superstar Johnny, who doesn't lift for shit, comes in. The strength coach beelines for the door to go bro hug Johnny while everyone else is training. And then, like, these guys know that he doesn't do anything in the weight room, and the head strength coach is over there kissing his butt. So, like, what does that show your other kids? Like, you got to reward effort, okay? It's not your job to worry about their performance on the field in that aspect, right? The kids work hard and push them along. So this kid, this is Rob, he was a thrower for me, stud, worked his ass off, was multiple All-American. He eventually went, he made it to Olympic trials his senior year, and he actually made it to finals, which was pretty cool. He was a few feet behind, like the big guys, but he made it to finals, which was, kind of, yeah, he was bigger, and he's not your typical thrower. He's like 5'10", 260, 270, you know what I mean, in the sport of giants. But my point is, he interned for me his last semester, and I had a group of female sprinters who kind of just weren't getting it. They weren't bad, disrespectful kids or whatever, but not super motivated to train. And kind of like the spot form would piss me off and get frustrated. So I was like, Rob, this is your project. Go. That's your group. See if you can figure it out. It was within like a week. Their squat form cleaned up. They were training harder. And I go, what are you doing with that? What did you say? I was like, just tell them what you tell me. So it's like they just kind of had to hear it from someone else. You know what I mean? Kind of like your athletes will start tuning their sport coach out. You've all seen that because they're up their ass every day. They might just need to hear it, so try something different. Any questions so far? Are we bored as shit? Good? Okay.
Might be time for raffle drawing, Nate.
Hey!
Might be time.
I think it's time for today's first raffle drawing.
Raffle drawing. It is.
So you all should have a number right on a half piece of sticky note,
I gotta do it? Yeah. Should we jump that?
Yeah.
How's your shoulder mobility? Fucking terrible.
So a little complex.
Seven. Yeah.
Camel or red?
Camel's hardcore.
We go. Gotta do the other arm. It's fair.
Now, is it okay if I go into thoracic extension when each other? 17.
17.
Lucky number 7.
17. There you go.
Sweet. Good for now?
Yes.
Nate, I had thought from Julie's. I said, well, I thought these was scraps of cheating. It was well
No, it's fine. Look how many, That's like, there's so many people, like mute deadlift, like 800-pound deadlifters and stuff, guys are starting to do straps now. Because you just can't.
Well, smash her, yeah. I can't
Oh, yeah,
find the bar.
Got your straps. Alright, you guys good? Keep going? Anybody need pee? No one's gonna get up now after I said that.
Before everybody has to leave.
Okay, cues are very important, okay? You can help put your athletes in the right position so that things work the way they should. This is, like I said, getting your kids to move correctly is the biggest impact you can make. Get them to move right and get the intent there. The rest will take care of itself, okay? Solve a problem. You can't, there's a time for motivation, there's a time, for all that stuff, but you need to be able to, like the kid squatting when he tucked his elbows, you need to be able to pick that stuff out and help the athlete solve the problem, right? Like, how many times you go into the weight room, kid squatting, and hear the coach, up. No shit, the kid knows he has to stand up. What does he need to do to stand up? Does he need to drive his head back, tuck his elbows, push out? So getting around good people that understand that stuff, which goes back to my background, I was very lucky to see that and be able to figure that out. So solve the problem, your cue should be 1 to 3 words at the most. Only fix one thing at a time, right? Like we talked about on the squat, get the knees right on the way down, then we'll start working on the upper body stuff, okay? Solve one problem at a time. I had a javelin thrower come into the weight room one day, and he goes, "Today in practice, coach told me to fire my neurons." He goes, "What the hell does that mean?" I go, "What? I don't know." So, you gotta speak their language. Okay, why the hell would I use a powerlifting program for my population? Okay, why wouldn't you?
Yeah, why wouldn't you?
Why wouldn't you?
I don't know. You're asking the wrong guy.
It sucks to suck.
It does. It sucks to suck. There's a right way and a wrong way. You might be doing it wrong.
Anybody else got any quotes? Throw some one-liners out. Okay, so with the system, we can train multiple strength traits or sporting traits. All strength traits are precursors to your sporting traits. We can train multiple traits throughout the year, month, and week by training different ones within the day. Okay? So, real quick, linear periodization and stuff going